Today we're going to be learning about lesson 3.2, the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So from here, I'm going to go to, we can make a number 1, so we can put it up here in the corner for reference. So we're going to start with solving x squared plus 4x plus 7 equals 0. So what you got to remember is you got to find the a, b, and c, and you have to essentially plug it into the equation, simplify, and that's how you get your answer. So for instance, the one with the squared, or in some cases you'll get to a fourth exponent, and then the 4x will be squared. You have to square root it down and simplify it from there, but the squared will always be your a. The one with just the exponent will be your b, and then the one without a square or an exponent is going to be your c. There's a couple different scenarios that could happen in situations like this. Say the 7 was on the other side of the 0. You would subtract it and bring it over, and in that case it would be negative 7, but for now we'll go with this. So you want to plug that into the equation, which is going to come out to negative 4 plus or minus square root 4 squared minus 4 plus 1 7 over 2 times 1. So from there you're going to simplify, and you're going to do everything within your square root over here, and you're going to it's going to come down to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 28 over 2. From there you want to simplify further. It's going to be so to get what's in the square root, since this is not only a negative, but in this instance it is not a perfect square, you're going to need to find out the square root, put an imaginary with it because of the negative, and then but the answer is going to come down to the final simplification to negative 4 plus or minus 3.5 I all over 2. In this form, there's no way to simplify further. Your goal or objective is to usually get a single two numbers, one with the plus and minus, that x is going to be equivalent to, but in this case you can just leave it as is because there's no further way to simplify it. So now we're going to apply the quadratic formula to a real world problem and give an example for what it may be used for. So there is a catcher who must get into position to catch a ball before 80x minus 16x squared plus 3.5 equals equation to figure out how long it's going to take him to get in place for the ball. So the first things first in this equation, you need to identify your A's, your B, and your C's. To get your numbers to plug into the equations and get your answers. So likewise, you always have to remember that the one with the square here is going to be your A. The placement within the equation doesn't matter as long as they're all on the same side. So it has a square, so that's going to be our A. Here you just have the X, that's going to be our B. And then the rolling number, which means this is going to be our C. So line down. So now you want to where do you extend the page at? Oh, it's so now you want to come down and rewrite your equation, which gives you so from here, you want to do everything within square root. You want to simplify that down. Which is going to come down to x equals negative 80 of 6,624 all over So from there, you're going to want to end up using a calculator to get the square root of 6,624, and then you're just going to add 80 and subtract 80. So you're going to get two equations you need to find the answer to. And this equation is going to be x equals about negative 0.04. And your other equation is going to be with the scenario in which it is a negative or subtracting, giving x equals negative 80 minus the square root 6,624 all over negative 32, which equals and that is how you use the quadratic formula.